everybody! I am so excited. I apologize for not being able to get a video out there sooner. Things have been crazy with work and getting my latest book, Getting to a Healthy, Happy Place, on the market, which will be available Tuesday, November 5th. I think this video will be posted before that, so just in case. But this is very exciting. It's my favorite time of year. Dia de los Muertos is tomorrow, which means today is nothing but setup. I can't wait. I am on my way to get my nails and a massage, so stay tuned because it's going to be nothing today but setting up the altar and getting the food I need for tomorrow. And it's going to be fun and I can't wait. I love Dia de los Muertos, so stay tuned. Hey everybody, it's Dia de los Muertos, and this is by far my absolute favorite holiday. I love everything about it. I love everything that it stands for, and it just makes me so happy. I love it. But right now, before I actually get into everything, I wanted to share with you what I'm making. And instead of doing traditional tacos on the stove in a skillet, it's been a very busy day. It's been a very busy morning. I am in the process of getting a new entertainment stand put together. So I crock-potted it this time instead of actually like doing tacos on the oven the way most people make them. But it's okay. I've made them this way before and it's very, very good. So I'm going to tell you what I did, and there's really nothing to it. I have 2 pounds of ground deer right now in my crock pot. As mentioned in previous videos, Andy hunts, so I really don't buy beef. I personally haven't even eaten beef for the last 5 years. Now, if I do go somewhere, or I have family who are like doing a cook-off, then, like I will eat a burger, which is beef because, they buy beef. Not a big deal, but I personally and willingly don't purchase any beef at all from the supermarkets. But anyway, 2 pounds of ground deer in here. I added the IdealFit St. Louis barbecue seasoning. It's my personal favorite. I seriously swear by this. If you haven't used this, you're really missing out because you can put this on anything and it tastes so good. But anyway, IdealFit St. Louis barbecue chicken, barbecue seasoning, not chicken. We're not doing chicken today. And I didn't save the packet, but I am using a McCormick brand mild taco seasoning. This is just a chicken taco one because it's the only taco one I had left in my pantry. But I do buy McCormick seasoning. It's very good. And then with every one of these that you use, you add 3/4 cup of water. So since I have 2 pounds of meat in my crock pot, I use 2 packets of the McCormick mild taco seasoning. And listen, I am terrible with fractions. So for me, it's just like 6/4 cups, because that's how I count it out to make sure I have enough. I'm terrible with fractions. Math is not my thing. That's why I went to school for psychology. But that is all that is in here. I am periodically coming and I'm stirring it a little bit, just make sure all the seasonings go through everything. And it will be cooking on low for at least 6 hours. So I'd say at this time it has about 3 or so left to go, which is fine because Dia de los Muertos does not start until evening. Okay, so I want to give you a background on Dia de los Muertos because it is by far my absolute favorite holiday. I blame my family for that. I love everything about it. But as far as I know and as far as I can remember, I believe Dia de los Muertos originated in Mexico, which is where my family's from on my dad's side. I think I mentioned that in a couple videos that I'm Mexican. I love it. I love my heritage. I love the culture. It is so beautiful. Anyway, so Dia de los Muertos roughly translates to Day of the Dead. And another name that has been dubbed for Dia de los Muertos is Festival of Love. I love it. It's so nice. And I'm sure most of you, whenever you hear Dia de los Muertos or Day of the Dead, you think of the sugar skulls and people painting their faces like skeletons and wearing the skeleton attire. And we do. Most of us. I don't. I can't paint my face to save my life. I cheat and use decals. But anyway. So we use that, and what that is, on Dia de los Muertos, families will set up an altar. In Mexico, you go to the cemetery. However, here in America, that's a little frowned upon to be at a cemetery at night. I know, I've tried that in the past. But you set up an altar, and on your altar, most of them, not all of them, most of them have a cross. We have pictures of loved ones who have moved on to the spirit world. We have their favorite foods out for them, some of their favorite scents, and rose petals or flower petals that line from, basically it'll line like all over the streets leading up to their altar. And the painting of the faces and wearing the skeleton attire is so that whenever the dead do come back to visit their loved ones on this night, they, how do I explain this? We paint our faces, if I remember correctly for how my grandfather explained this to me, because it's been years, we paint our faces so that whenever our loved ones do come back, like, it's basically an honor for them, I think. That's kind of how he explained it. He explained it to me whenever I was like 6 years old, and I just kind of went with it, and I don't remember exactly what that is. I'm gonna actually have to look that up because I really don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it's just because they have passed on, they are no longer with us, they are in the spirit world. We think of them as the bones, and you know, basically like everything you think of whenever you think of like a dead body who has been in the ground over time. And it's just kind of like to honor that and to show that, you know, like, we understand what you're going through, but we are happy that you're here with us, basically. But usually for Dia de los Muertos, I do everything like that. I also make tacos, which I have behind me, tapas, which I will be making closer to, and I will show you that later in the video because it only takes about 10 minutes to cook. And usually I make dulce de pan, but my sister she wasn't in the mood for it this year. I can only eat so much of it, so I'm not going to do dulce de pan, which is also sweetbread, if that helps, you know, like translating, because, you know, everything we do is like in Spanish, and I just don't like think about that when talking to people. But I'm not doing that this year. And also, because I have cats, and again, can't go to a cemetery at night, I have to tweak a little bit of what I do, just because some of the stuff is poisonous for my cats, and I don't want that. So I don't have flower petals leading to my altar. I can't do that with the cats. I don't have real candles or incense burning, just because some of the scents that my family enjoyed is poisonous to my cats. I do have sugar skulls. I don't make them. That's a lot of work that I honestly just don't want to do, and I know that sounds like so bad, and my grandparents are probably turning in their graves right now with me saying that, but some of the stuff that, like some of the ingredients for a sugar skull, which also we really don't eat those, which I don't know if that's something that you knew, but sugar skulls, even though they are made with sugar and sometimes food coloring, you don't want to eat at all. But basically the process of a sugar skull is you have to have very specific ingredients. You have to have a very, very specific sugar. I can't find that anywhere up here. I think the only way for me to even get this sugar is if I actually order it from Mexico. And as much as I love my culture and as much as I love everything, I am not getting anything from Mexico just because of some of the stories that you hear about what they do to their food and water. So I don't have the specific sugar. Turns out unless there's a trick to it that I don't know, you can't make a sugar skull with just normal sugar. Like, it actually has to be the specific sugar. But basically, whenever you make a sugar skull, you have to make them like a day in advance. And you'll put all the ingredients, all the sugar, all that fun stuff in like an actual like skeleton head mold. And you leave it there for a while. You basically freeze it. Or this is how my grandmother used to make it. But you basically freeze this. And then it just sits there. It hardens. It gets what it needs to do. And then the next day, which would have been this morning, you take that mold out. And then you can start to decorate it with food coloring or paint. Whatever you want to decorate it with. Decals. Some people put like sequins and stuff on it now. Glitter. And that's why you don't want to eat it, because it's basically sugar that's been sitting out for a day, and it's not appetizing. It's not something you want to eat. I know, I've tried. But that's what that is. So again, like, I kind of cheat with that, and I actually buy sugar skulls. I've been using the same sugar skulls since, I don't know, since Andy and I got our own apartment back in 2014. Was the first thing that we did whenever we actually moved in together. So I've been using these sugar skulls for the last 5 years, and they've held up fine. I do have pictures of my loved ones that I do put on my altar. I have a cross, but I don't know where it's at. I couldn't find it, so I'm just gonna have to make another one. It's probably ruined at this point if I can't find it, which means it's smashed. But I will do that. Usually I just get like cardboard, like from a big box if we order something big for a package, and take little tissue paper and just kind of like ball it up. Like, I don't know if you ever did like that craft in elementary school where you took like a tiny piece of tissue paper, put it on the end of a pencil, and like twisted it to like get it like so it was like really tight at the bottom but kind of like flared out at the top. Maybe if you did that, you know what I'm talking about. But that's basically what I do, where I'll do that with the tissue paper and then just like glue it to the cross and make it like all colorful and pretty. But I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, the most important part of Dia de los Muertos. So basically what it is, your altar is what draws your family to it. So they know from the spirit world where to go to find them. And you want to talk about them. It's not a grieving. You know, we are not grieving the loss of people who are no longer with us. We are celebrating them. It's a wonderful thing. In my culture, in my heritage, this on planet Earth is hell. You don't want to be here. You want to move on to the spirit world where you are no longer suffering. You are no longer in hell. You are no longer here. So for us, you want to go. Not that you want to die. Like, we're not saying like we want our family members to die. But knowing that they are no longer here, even though they aren't with us, we know they are in a better place. And we know that every Dia de los Muertos, as long as we have our altar set up with our picture on it, they're here. They're here with us. Just because of my faith, I know my family is here with me every day. But then Dia de los Muertos kind of like makes it better because we talk about them. We tell our favorite stories about them. We just kind of like reminisce. And we will enjoy like really good food. And we do have like their favorite items and their favorite food and drinks on the altar for them. So whenever they come here and visit, they want to eat and drink with us. Eat and drink with us. That's what we're here for. That's what you're here for. You know, you're celebrating it here too. And it's just such a beautiful, beautiful holiday. And I know it's starting to become a little bit more popular in the States. I don't think it's necessarily because of what Dia de los Muertos is. I think it's just kind of a way and excuse for people to get out and get drunk. I do. Just like Cinco de Mayo. Like, do you know why you're celebrating Cinco de Mayo? Or are you just celebrating it because there's really good deals on margaritas? But I really truly believe more people should celebrate this holiday just because it feels like it just brings you so much closer to your family. And it really is about your family and friends. It's not about the drinking or the partying or the foods. you do it because you love them. You love your family. But right now, since I just gave you a backstory on it, it is 3:30, give or take. So I think I am gonna go ahead and get ready for the day, and I will be back later when my food's done. Whenever I get to show you what the tapas are, you'll get to see our altar and my skeleton face. It's gonna be a great day. It's gonna be a great night, and I can't wait to share this with you. So stay tuned for more. Alrighty, here is my altar. You know, again, it is not at a cemetery, it's just here in my house. I do have my grandfather in the back there. That is Andy and his grandfather. That's my Uncle Pee-wee with Dancing with My Sister. And then there are my grandparents who started this whole thing. And I miss them all. But like I said, they're going to be here tonight. I'm really excited about that. So, let's get started, because it is time to make the tapas. It is Dia de los Muertos. My face is all done. I love it. Like I said, I suck at the whole face paint. So my face is nothing but decals. But it still does its purpose. I do have the roses on top of my head. Obviously fake because of my cats. But I do have the roses. My outfit is just a simple Victoria's Secret crop workout shirt and a pair of leggings. I really suck at the whole skeleton thing. I tell myself every year I am going to get more, or I'm going to get something, and I don't. A year passes, I forget. Here we are. It happens. Honestly, I don't think having skeleton anything is like a make or break it. I do love the face. I do that even if I can't paint, so I am so excited for this. But how about we make some tapas? Alright, so basically all a tapa is a tapa is Spanish for appetizer. I don't have another name for what I'm going to make. I've just always called them tapas. It's always just been a tapa. But basically all you need is garlic bread of some sort. I use the Texas toast just because it's a lot easier and it's very convenient. You need some slices of cheese of your choice. Because I'm partially lactose intolerant, I just do American cheese. It doesn't make me sick. Same thing, some slices of ham. I think this is maple ham. Yep, giant eagle maple ham. It was on sale. The ham itself doesn't matter. And some black ground pepper. And that's it. So what you're gonna do is you will preheat your oven. For the Texas toast, it does say to do it 425. My oven is at 425 right now, preheating. But you are going to take your toast out of the sleeve, use a non-baking dish of some sort. I just made cookies the other day for a fundraiser, so right now all of my actual cookie sheets are dirty and I didn't have a chance to use that, so I'm just going to use an actual baking pan. It doesn't make a difference, honestly. It's just something that you can put in the oven. And these things are frozen pretty good. Jeez. The only thing I don't like about Texas toast is all the whatever they use for this, butter maybe. You know, it's just slimy and just ugh. And I think I've mentioned it before how I absolutely despise having anything on my hands. And so this is seriously just cringeworthy for me right now. So let's try this where I can get a grip on it. Jeez, it's stuck on here pretty good. They're stuck together good. There we go. Actually, I'm pretty sure I just took most of the garlic off. But I try to get my nails in between the bread itself to break them up some. And, you know, sometimes it doesn't work because they're so stubborn. Payne, baby, get down from the altar. Get down. Get down. Come on. Good boy. My cats see something and they just automatically think it's theirs. Alright, so we're doing this again then. And one of the things with Texas toast too is it tells you on the box to keep it frozen until ready to use, which really doesn't help the cause of them sticking together. You know, it's just like more of a headache than anything, but it does save you from actually having to buy garlic clove and a loaf of bread and rubbing the garlic onto the bread, because I've done that before and it really is a pain. So anyway, we have our garlic laid out. Now the order of this is very important because it'll bake differently if you don't do it. You are going to take your ham slices, and I like to do 2 to a Texas toast. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the slice of ham and just kind of fold it over on top of the toast itself. And you will do that for as many as you make. So to start, I'm just going to go ahead and put a slice of ham on all of these, and then I will go back and add the second piece. Okay. And this is we've been doing this in my family for years. It really has become a tradition to make tapas for Dia de los Muertos as well as Cinco de Mayo. That's really all we make them for, I think. Other times, if I make them, it's just because like I really wanted that. And they're not hard to do. They're not expensive to make at all. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and add a second piece of ham. Just wanted to make sure I had enough for all of them to double it up first, because Andy and I have been eating some sandwiches the last couple days since we knew this was coming up, and I didn't want to make a whole bunch of food and then have so many leftovers that, you know, we just can't eat everything. But with it being a holiday, this has definitely become our cheat day. Neither one of us really ate that much Halloween candy. You know, honestly, I can really care less. I've never been a candy eater. I've never been like a chocolate eater. I've always liked carbs, so that's definitely my weakness. But today, since it is cheat day, we're eating tapas. We have cookies. There is some Halloween candy still. Alright, one of these is just getting one more piece because I'm not going to keep just a slice of ham. So, our ham is down. We then want to add our cheese. And I will do 2 slices each. I know I have plenty, but I'm still just going to add 1 piece at a time just to make sure, because I would much rather be on the safe side. And it will be nice once everybody gets here too, just because the sun will be setting, which means our loved ones will be coming back. You know what, actually, I think I'm only going to do 1 piece. I think 1 piece is pretty good, because these are bigger slices than what I was anticipating. So we're just going to do a slice. So that will actually go back in my fridge. And then lastly, we're just going to sprinkle some ground pepper on top. You don't want a lot, but you also don't want a little. Like, you kind of want to be generous with it. And one of the things that I tell people who want to make tapas is just try to get the cheese covered. So it basically looks like this. And once my oven is done preheating, then I will be able to place these in there. You do want to cook the garlic toast like it tells you to. So on the box, if you have a Texas toast, it tells you 5 to 8 minutes. I generally put it in for 7, and that's about good. You don't want to overcook it so that your cheese is burnt, but you don't want to undercook it either where the toast isn't cooked like it should be. So that's all there is to it. Let me raise you a little bit. There we go. And all that's left for tonight, I have the altar set up, which you were able to see that I do have everybody's favorite foods on it that they used to eat whenever they were here. We have our tapas, which is also a very popular hit. Those will also be on the altar tonight. And I do have my tacos that are finishing up cooking. Now with it, you can eat the meat however you want to. Like, I prefer to actually eat it like a taco, where Andy's going to have his more like nachos. It doesn't make a difference either way. But I do have like lettuce and onion, taco sauce, salsa, cheese, you know, like your basic like taco ingredients, and your taco extras. And that is basically Dia de los Muertos. Once the sun sets, our loved ones will be here with us. They are going to come enjoy this wonderful meal that I have set out for them. We will be talking about those who've passed, those who we lost, all the fun times we had together, which makes it really nice. You know, it's almost like you're not talking about them because they're no longer here. You're talking about them as if they are actually here with you today. Like, you are having all these memories with them, you know, like it's like they never left. And, you know, it just really helps a lot, especially if you lost somebody you were close to. Like, for me, I lost my grandparents. They pretty much raised me like my parents did. You know, they raised me and my sister. We were with them every day for hours on end while both of our parents worked. And losing them, even though it wasn't sudden, you know, like we knew it was coming, you know, it was still hard. Like, I lost my pap whenever I was 16. And I lost my grandmother when I was 19. So that really hit hard. You know, like, I love them both. I miss them terribly. Pap's favorite food was peanuts, and he loved coffee. Where my grandma would always have a small Pepsi and Twizzlers. So that's why those are on the table. And we also lost my Uncle Pee-wee when, oh geez, Andy and I just started dating. So I was 20. I wasn't 21 yet. I was turning 21 that year. And he was always the wisecracker. Like, he is on my mom's side of the family. It was actually her uncle. So he's full-blown Italian. Loved him to death. And he really liked Pepsi. And every time we would go over, you know, they're the ones who have the pool. And they're the ones that we always go to swim. So every time we were there, it was always, do you want a Klondike or a Scooter Crunch, or you like pop, you know, like he always had everything. And he would always give my mom loves pickles, by the way, like he would bring her a jar like this big, that wide, that was nothing but the oval pickles. And she would eat them, she loved them. And he would do the same thing with like the orange, like Sunkist gummies. I don't know if you actually know what those are. We don't have them around here. I looked because he used to eat them too. And it turns out he would get them in Maryland, so that doesn't do me any good. But he's missed. Like, he was definitely like a wisecracker, and it was fun. My other grandfather, he was pictured here playing the organ. I never met him. He was 16 whenever my mom died. And he ended up dying from cancer. So because of that, and because I wasn't actually born until my mom was, I think, 22 or 23, you know, like, I never actually met him. But just the stories of him that my family tells, like, he is definitely a Luciani, which is my mom's maiden name. Like, that's where the Italian side comes in. And I mean, I really wish I could have met him, because I mean, just the stories my family tells, like, you can't help but laugh. Like, he was definitely a down-to-earth family man. And then lastly, on our altar is Andy's grandfather. And I seriously loved that man. He was so funny, so sweet. Always picking on everybody. You know, that's what you want, that's what you like. My grandfather was like that. You know, I think that's why me and him clicked so well. But he passed in 2016. It was right before right before Andy and I got engaged. And, you know, like, I miss him so much. I always, like, talk to Andy about him. And tonight, you know, whenever we share stories and everything, you know, just some of the stuff that he tells me about his grandfather, like, you just can't help but smile. You know, he was so fun. He was so sweet. But that is seriously what the Dia de los Muertos is all about. It's just them coming here and being together. And I kind of told you a little bit about my family and who they were. Oh, and Andy's grandfather really did like chocolate covered raisins. I would always get him the Redstone raisins and tell him all the time that he couldn't eat them until Christmas, and it would be like a week before it. And he would just sit there and like eat them in front of me, and I would just be like, you can't do that, what are you doing? But it was so fun. Like, we picked on each other, and that's how you know you really get along with somebody, whenever you can be yourself around them. You know, it was really nice. And I feel like my decals are like coming off of my mouth, that's why I like keep touching them. I'm sure they're still there, because it's like a really like sensitive spot. But you know, like it's like I said, everybody should celebrate the Dia de los Muertos. It really is a celebration. It's not Halloween. It's not like a Mexican Halloween like people seem to think it is. Like, it is really its own holiday. And actually, what I didn't mention is the Dia de los Muertos is actually like a 2-day thing, where yesterday on November 1st, you want to kind of get everything together and set up, and really at night, November 1st, is for all of the children who have passed, who aren't with us. Like, it's kind of like the kids' day, where today is the full-blown Dia de los Muertos, where we celebrate everybody who's no longer with us. We do the altars, we do the party, and really, even like the setting up for it just builds that excitement. Like, it's kind of like whenever it's getting close to Christmas and you start to put up your tree and decorate it and get your house all nice and Christmas shopping and being a family house, like that building up to the big day. Yesterday, November 1st, is kind of like a Christmas for me, because I know what's coming next, and I'm really excited for it because my family is here with me again. You know, we're all together, and it really is a beautiful thing. But I think I talked your ear off enough. So with that being said, it is about an hour until party time. So I'm going to go ahead and go. I'm going to get these tapas in the oven. That way they'll be nice and cool and ready for whenever people start to show up. And tacos will be ready soon, so we can eat pretty soon. But in the meantime, tell me what you think of Dia de los Muertos. I know it's a lot different than what they do in Mexico. Like I said, we can't go to a cemetery and do this there. And it's definitely like not a full-blown like Dia de los Muertos in the States as it is in Mexico. But overall, tell me what you think. Is this something that you would maybe celebrate in your household? Do you think talking about loved ones who are no longer here helps with the pain of losing them? Really, comment anything you want in the comments. Honestly, like, I'll see them, I'll acknowledge them. But right now, it is close to family time, so I'm going to go ahead and, you know, end this video now. But if you liked it, give it 2 thumbs up, because I really love and appreciate you guys, and you're awesome. Subscribe to my videos so you never miss a new one. That's really important. Follow me on social media, because I post a lot on there, and it's really fun, especially if you want to get to know the person who you're following, or like really get to know them more on a personal level. And as always, I will chat with you guys later. Enjoy your night.